everyone. If it's your first time tuning in, I'm Chris, and this is Pia's Projects. All right, I'm not sure if some of y'all may have seen on my on my story right before Thanksgiving. So my intent was to go to Turkey Rod Run in Daytona. Well, that didn't happen because we had our first road failure on the Joker. I've been driving this thing up and down the East Coast for the last 2 years. And hey, things break. It's bound to happen. Well, a wheel bearing for the rear went out. Okay. I ended up changing the wheel bearing in the AutoZone parking lot it was about an hour and a half into my trip down the road, about 80 miles. Still had over 400 to go. So took a little bit, mostly because I didn't have all the tooling I needed. And luckily, with the help of some people there, I was able to pull off basically the heated bearing off of the stub axle. I replaced the bearings, did not replace the races because I wasn't buying additional tooling. And at that point, I'd already made the decision, I'm driving home. I ordered parts from FCP Euro, and I ordered on Monday, Tuesday of this week. I had some parts Thursday and everything else came in yesterday. And yeah, so what am I going to do? I'm going to replace all the work I just did. While we're at it, just look at other things underneath the car and we'll go from there. First thing we're going to do is open up our packages from FCP Euro. And assemble the bearing and everything beforehand. Alright, we have a set of pads, and if I'm changing one side, I'm changing both sides. Okay. And, yeah. We should have rotor, and I know it's 4-lug, staying 4-lug. There's more wheel options in 4x100 than 5x100, and if I have to run an adapter, Why change to a 5x100, run a different adapter? So I will stick with 4x100. If I ever changed anything, it would probably be 5x112. And I'm not really sure if that's something I could realistically even do on this vehicle. But 4x100, that's where we go. Alright, wheel bearing kit. Cotter pin, wheel seal, cap, grease, air. So, I used this last time. Not this time. And last but not least should be stub axle. Alright, so I want to go over what I have in the trunk, okay? So, first thing, actually, 95% of what I needed was in this Harbor Freight toolkit. It's like the 215 piece. Shop rags, hand wipes. I always keep a jack, okay? Heck, I usually even keep a jack in just my regular truck when I'm driving around, so. I mean, I even have channel locks, a pipe, and a big screwdriver, but what I needed was a bigger hammer and a pry bar. So that everyone understands, in there, that's where we're trying to go, okay? I'm gonna press it all the way in, and there it is, pressed in, okay? And same for the front. As you can see, there's so much. This thing got hot. All right. Before I grease up the bearings and stuff, while I'm here, I'm going to compress the brake caliper, but it's not like regular one, you know, other brake calipers. You need a special tool or a tool of some sort, because you need to rotate this. Okay. So this is how I do it. We're gonna take some grease. A lot of grease, actually. And fill this thing up. So one thing I wanted to point out, I'm not sure how well this will focus, but the rotor says made in Germany, which is always nice. But so there we go. A little bit more. Well, I don't know how long it's been there. There's not much left of that screw or nail or whatever it was. So, yeah. And you can't patch that. It's just outside that line. Like realistically, it should be like within here. Probably the best way is to take the tire off and see if someone patch it underneath. Fix the bad parts, I guess, or the burnt parts. I'll knock out the brakes on the other side here shortly, but we're gonna have to order a tire because I went to try and pull it and plugging it's not the right move. So it just means I need a new tire. So I'll work on that here shortly. So, but I appreciate everyone following along, watching. I have a couple things coming up for the next few weeks. And we're approaching the 1 year mark of the channel. So I will probably do a year in review type stuff. Might do that towards the end of the year, and which is only a couple weeks away. And then I'm gonna do basically what I have planned for 2025. Okay. There are a few things I want to do. Some of it's gonna start next week. If you haven't seen, Euro Tripper 12 was announced for January 31st, but the big show's February 1st. And then Riverside 10, it's at the third weekend in March, I think. I'll put all the dates up here. I'm going to both those shows, okay? My intent with Euro Trippers is to bring the Beetle. Riverside, I'm not sure yet. I am hoping to have a few options by then, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everyone. And remember, there's always a solution.